Hello, lovelies. This is 5 Minute Manifesting, and I'm your host, Lovey Brown. Thank you so much for listening. I'm thrilled that you're here. And today I want to talk to you about whether or not you're identifying both what and with the things that you're imagining. So let's just talk through this for a minute. So your imagination, your internal world, the thoughts that you think, the stories that you tell yourself, who you believe yourself to be, all of those things internally inside of yourself are pushing out onto the screen of space, and that's what's selecting your reality that you're living in, selecting the place and time and the events and things around you. That is what's happening. So, can you identify both, like, what are you thinking? Like, and I don't mean that like in that, like, what were you thinking kind of way. I mean it like just generally, do you have an awareness of what you are thinking about? What thoughts you are imagining? Where your imagination goes just throughout the day? And so, I say here that it's your focus that manifests. And so, like, if you're having a lot of thoughts about something, whatever you're dominantly focused on, that's what's going to manifest in your life. So, but there's kind of a pre-step. We don't necessarily very often, unless we're, trained in the art of manifesting, really take time to think about what we're thinking about. We don't take time to imagine what we're imagining. We don't take time necessarily sometimes, like I said, unless we're, trained in manifesting and really know what we're doing, to identify what it is our imagination is focused on. And so just even doing it sometimes can take some effort on the front end of it, where you're having to really pay attention to your thoughts. And it's not that it will be that way forever. You will grow in this skill and you will get better at it. But at the very beginning, it can feel challenging to kind of pay attention to what you're thinking, to pay attention to what you're imagining, to pay attention to where your focus is, because it's been on autopilot and trained by, your life up until whatever point you discover manifesting. And so I just want you to take a moment to assess, while you're listening to this podcast, where are you on this journey? And it doesn't, and be honest with yourself, right? Because I still sometimes find myself, and I've been manifesting a long time, and I've manifested a lot of different things, and I know that this works, and I know if I really discipline my thinking and discipline my imagination, then I will manifest exactly what I want. And I still sometimes find it, I find that I don't always do that, right? I'm not always making those choices internally in my internal world. So the first kind of pre-step, the first thing you kind of have to do is just notice, okay, hey, where am I? What am I thinking? What is my internal world focused on? What am I imagining? And just, especially if there's an area of your life that you're manifesting something, like your specific person or more money or a dream job or whatever it is, you want to really pay attention about what are your thoughts surrounding that, and what is your identity surrounding that. So let's say you're manifesting a specific person for a committed romantic relationship, and you have a lot of thoughts about how, relationships just don't really work out for you. And that's just how things go for you, and they kind of don't work out. And it's just kind of a natural autopilot thought that you have in the back of your mind. You've repeated it so many times over the course of your life because of either experience or, something that someone said to you once, that you've adopted this sort of mindset, this belief about yourself. And if you don't, it's just always been there, so it feels so natural, you might not notice necessarily that it's there. And so once you do notice that it's there, you want to do the work of changing that thought process, that focus, that thing that's that story that you're telling yourself, that identity that you have around that subject. And so but like I was saying, what I wanted to talk about today is the pre-step is noticing, identifying what it is you're actually thinking about, what you're imagining, what those beliefs are. And then once you know what they are, you can identify whether or not they support the manifestation that you want to have. And so I just want you to take some time today to really figure that out for yourself. Like, what, sometimes it's just good to sit down and say, like, okay, well, what is going on with me? What am I thinking about? Where is my focus? And you can kind of just look at your life and look at, your goals and what it is you're manifesting and see if they match. And if they do, keep going on your track. And if they don't, try to figure it out, what it is that you can change internally inside of yourself to become the person that you want to be, to manifest what you want, to imagine the things that you want in your life so that they do feel natural and you are able to manifest them. So I trust that is helpful to you. And with that, may you manifest exactly what you want.